rival at present. But make sure that you get your pen and paper close and...
Matter of interest, I thought you might like to know...
Friction in your engine with PS23. Watch how
Well, quickly grab your pen and paper because make sure that those entries do reach us by noon on us to go off-road racing. These guys are rugged, these guys are tough, and their machines are absolutely awesome.
For many years, off-road racing has been contested mainly by privateer teams with small budgets and has drawn its supporters from a limited number of hardcore fans. Now, that's changing. This season, off-road has taken on a whole new lease of life. Apart from Toyota, which has been a stalwart for many years, several other manufacturers have committed big resources. Nissan has come forward with a hard body, Samcor's campaigning the ex-Paris Dakar Rally Pajero, and Daimler Chrysler has entered the cult. Joined the action at the recent Colt Baberspan 500, which is one of the sport's long-established events. It takes place outside Baberspan in Northwest Province. It's run very much like a rally, with competitors starting at 1-minute intervals and running on a set route. However, off-road stages are much longer and a lot tougher. Off-road racing is not for the faint-hearted. The crews have to contend with everything from wide rivers through to waist-deep mud, narrow farm roads and rocky outcrops. And now that the sport's become more competitive, we're really seeing some spectacular racing. Entrants compete in two main classes. These are specials, which look like something from a Mad Max movie. They have a space frame, low weight, trick suspension and powerful motors. Those in the production vehicle category are based on 4x4 buckies and have uprated engines and modified suspensions. Toyota has dominated the off-road scene in recent times. For the last 3 years in succession, it's won the national title with this hard-working Land Cruiser, crewed by R.P. Reinecker and Robin Houghton. R.P. Reinecker, driver of the Land Cruiser, is truly a legend of off-road racing. He's won 7 overall South African championships and numerous national titles as well.
Yeah, it first started with my late dad, who was South African champion in 1983. And after his death in 84, I started with an old vehicle of his, the Nissan Safari, and then in 89 we won the South African championships, and then also received Springbok colours in 91. And then we started with Toyota in 93 with the Toyota Land Cruiser.
And the rest, as they say, is history. On the day before the main Baberspan race, there was a short event called a prologue to determine the starting order. With all the wet weather of late, there were plenty of problems for the competitors. The Pajero team of Woolridge and Skoldhammer had problems of a different kind. The vehicle, which was making its South African debut, hit a tree stump and broke its suspension. This meant it would have to start at the back of the field. It was a big blow for the team and the vehicle, which had only just been imported after participating in several of the legendary Paris Dakar rallies. High speeds, rough terrain and increased competition mean that teamwork between the driver and navigator is extremely important, perhaps more so now than ever before. Previously the crews had to look for markers indicating the route. Now it's up to the navigator to call the turns accurately.
The pace is such that you have to count the driver down to the turn, so that you're not sitting there looking for the turn. You can actually say to him it's 200, it's 100 meters, it's 50, turn now.
The other member of the team is navigator Robin Houghton. Somewhat younger than RP, he joined Toyota in 1995 after first being involved with other teams. Since then, of course, he's enjoyed huge success, and he still has many, many good years ahead of him.
It sounds a lot easier than it actually has been. It's been nail-biting stuff all the way. We've just had a good vehicle, and Poppy, as everyone knows, is a top driver, so I think hopefully we complement each other and make a good team.
On this event, the Baberspan 500, Robin and RP are starting way back in 18th position. That's because yesterday, on the prologue to the main event, they decided to take things a little easy. But in the race itself, there's no thought of giving less than maximum effort, particularly when you're the reigning champions and all of your competitors are out to prove a point.
The boys were out to get us this year though. I actually said to someone, I expect to see the kitchen sink around here somewhere because they're throwing everything at it.
Apart from Woolridge and Skolthammer in the Pajero, several other big names in local motorsport are hoping to wrestle away Toyota's crown. These include ex-off-road and rally champion Hannes Grobler in the Nissan, Works rally driver Enzo Kuhn in the Colt, and the legendary Cyril van der Merwe in a monster Jeep. But, says RP, that doesn't mean you must throw caution to the wind.
You must sort of look after your car. You must keep it together to do 500 kilometers without breaking it. The route is very rough. You're talking about crossing river beds, dongas, beaches and rocks and everything you can expect. Because then you're out of the race. One wrong step, then you're out.
In the first half of the Baberspan event, this strategy seemed to be working well. We're now midway through the event and things have begun to change quite dramatically. The Toyota team has worked its way steadily through the field and is now leading the pack. It hasn't been easy though. Both Robin and RP have had to work extremely hard. And they have also had a little bit of luck. The vehicle that was out in front has somehow managed to get itself lost. As the normally restful atmosphere of rural Northwest Province was being shattered by the roar of thundering engines, the off-road boys were being sorted from the men. At the optional rest stop, optional because servicing is carried out in racing time, it became clear that the Pajero team was flying. The Toyota pairing would have to pull out all the stops. The Castrol Toyota Land Cruiser, crewed by family members Shumi and Carl van Vieren, was also on a charge. We took the opportunity to find out what off-road racing means to Toyota's image. Here's public relations spokesman Roger Houghton.
Toyota's roots in South Africa are in the commercial vehicle market. They came into South Africa with a stout bakkie in 1961, and then of course the main success in the early days was the Hilux. The range then expanded into passenger cars. So the rural areas of South Africa were very important to Toyota in its formative years, and they remain very important. When we see the off-road racing is extension of our involvement in the commercial vehicle market, bakkies, and now of course the four-wheel drive.
Unfortunately for Toyota though, Baberspan wasn't going to provide a perfect day at the office for RP and Robin. In racing, there are no certainties. It's a case of 1 minute you're up and the next you're down. The team started in 18th and worked its way up to the head of the pack. But now, disaster. They spent 35 minutes trying to sort out an electrical problem, and not surprisingly, they've lost the lead. This would push them back to an eventual 11th place overall. The Sam Corback Works Pajero was now in the lead. One of the interesting things about off-road racing is that it doesn't seem to have the same level of animosity that you sometimes find in other branches of motorsport. So the drivers don't spend a lot of time plotting to bump each other off the track. In fact, if you do get stuck, the guy who's most likely to pull you out is your closest rival. As was the case with these two special vehicles. When one broke down near the end, the other helped tow it to within 50 meters of the finish line. Unfortunately, the rules state that a vehicle must complete the last kilometer unassisted. So it was disqualified, and all this effort was in vain. The eventual winner of the Baberspan was the Mitsubishi Pajero of Woolridge and Skolthammer, who called on all the experience they've gained in the Paris-Dakar Rally. They were followed by the Toyota Land Cruiser of Tschumi and Carl van Pieren, seen here about to overtake the Mitsubishi of Henry and Morris Sir Matten, which finished sixth. In recent years, Toyota has made the Off-Road Racing Championship its own. In 2000, however, there are several other worthy contenders for the title. Can RP and Robin do it again? Well, it's probably too early in the season to tell. But one thing's for sure, there's going to be a lot more action before the year's up.
Well, interesting stuff there. But if RP and Robin are going to stay in the hunt for the championship, they've got plenty of work to do there, Dion.
Absolutely. I mean, if you take a look at the championship logs for Super Trucks for a start, and in fact we put that on screen now, we'll see that he's in fact third behind Neil Woolridge in that Pajero, and also of course the Ace X, but aging Hannes Schrobler, who really is doing some surprising things in a virtually standard vehicle. And then of course if we look then also at the driver's logs, you'll see that RP is all the way down in sixth place. So even though he really is no monkey behind the wheel, he's going to have to work very, very hard at getting back to the top.
Well, next week